Canelo versus Crawford. This is my official predictions video for the event. We're going to run through all the fights. We're going to finish off with who I think is going to win between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Bud Crawford. I'm going to break down why I think they're going to win and how they're going to do it. Let's get into it, guys. All right, first up, Christian Mbeili versus Lester Martinez is going to be for the WBC interim super middleweight belt. For me, Christian Mbeili is possibly the second best super middleweighter in my opinion. I rate him more than Pacheco at the moment. I know Pacheco is very good, but he's still young. I think in the long run, Pacheco probably will become better than Mbeili. At the moment, I'm probably still putting Mbeili over Pacheco. Hamza Shiraz is new to the division as well, so I think Christian Mbeili for me would be the second best in the division. That win that he got last against Suleshi in June, that round 1 TKO, I mean, that just shows how good he is. And he's coming up against Lester Martinez, another person, 29 years of age, Guatemalan, former WBC Latino champ. He's coming off a round 4 KO in March. 19 wins, 16 knockouts, but for me, Christian Mbeili will probably win this fight. And the way Christian Mbeili has been dealing with his opponents, I expect this one to be over before the 12th round. I think Christian Mbeili wins this by stoppage. All right, Serhii Boachuk versus Brendan Adams at super welterweight. Serhii Boachuk, I'm sorry if you can hear my dog. I mean, I don't know why she's just got to make so much noise, but we'll continue. Serhii Boachuk, 30 years of age, 26 wins, 24 knockouts, 2 losses, 1 coming by way of knockout. Coming into this fight off 2 wins since that last defeat. That last defeat was to Virgil Ortiz in 2024, August. Brian Mendoza, he beat before fighting Virgil Ortiz, beat Ishmael Davis after beating Virgil Ortiz. So some good names. Serhii Boachuk's definitely a very good super welterweighter. Just has been unable to sort of crack getting a world title. But I think he's very, very good. Do I think he will ever get a world title? Probably not. I think there's better fighters out there. But I think he's definitely someone that can stick in and around the top 8 and be sort of a level raiser, you know. If somebody wants to fight for a world title, they've got to beat Serhii Boachuk to get to there. I think that's sort of his level. Look, he might surprise me and one day get another shot, get a shot at a world title and win it. But for me at the moment, I think that's sort of his level. Brendan Adams, 36 years of age, 25 wins, 4 losses. Brendan Adams, he handed Serhii Boachuk his first career defeat back in 2021. Since then, he's only had 3 fights, and they all came in 2024. His last fight suffering a defeat to Katsurakis by split decision, that Greek super welterweight. He's sort of breaking into the top 15. Very good fighter, that Katsurakis guy. So keep your eye out for him. For me, I think Serhii Boachuk will get one back this time. I think he beats Brendan Adams by decision. Callum Walsh is taking on Fernando Vargas. Good matchup. I think Callum Walsh will go into this as favourite, although Fernando Vargas is a very, very good fighter. I think this will be very close. I think Callum Walsh is probably rightfully favourite in this fight. 24 years of age, 14 wins. He's very, very, very good. But I think Fernando Vargas will cause him problems. I think it is very, very close, but I'd probably go Callum Walsh on decision. All right, they're sort of the main co-features. We're going to run through the rest of them quite quickly. I think Ivan Ditchko will beat Jermaine Franklin. I think Steven Nelson versus Raiko Satana. I think Steven Nelson will get the nudge. Muhammad Alakel and Reito Tsutsumi, they have their own individual bouts. Alakel fighting Crawford, Travis Kent Crawford, and Rito Tsutsumi fighting Javier Martinez. I think this will be another good performance by both of them. They're really being eased into the professional ranks, getting good matchups, and I expect them both to get a win. Same with Marco Verde, Alvarez taking on Sona Akal, and Sultan Alamahed versus Martin Carabello. Another one that I would expect Alamahed to win. All right, this brings us on to the one that we're all talking about, and it's tough, guys. Honestly, from the time this was announced till now, I'm filming this of Friday, the 12th of September, midday in Australia. So it's about Thursday night in America, maybe a bit earlier on Thursday in America. I've changed my opinion on this, not just 3 or 4 times during fight week, but heaps and heaps and heaps of time since the time it was announced. I think there's a lot of factors that come into this fight. I think the main one is the weight. It's not necessarily the fact that Terence Crawford's not going to be the same weight as him. It's the way in which the weight is there. I think, it's well and good getting to the weight and weighing 168 pounds on weigh-in, and then probably 180 on fight night, depending on how he wants to weigh going into the fight. But it's completely different between weighing that and putting that weight on. Canelo has fought at this division for a long time. He naturally weighs this weight. He's dense. He knows how to fight it. His body is ready for this. For me, Terence Crawford's body, he was so good, so slick, so agile. The jab was rapid fighting at welterweight. That is his division. How all that gets compromised going into this fight, we won't know until it starts. But for those reasons alone, I think it's a tough, tough battle for Crawford. The other thing I will say is Crawford's probably the better boxer, but I think people are sleeping on how good Canelo is at boxing. You could say Crawford is the better boxer, but it would be by the marginalist amount. It's nowhere near what I've heard some people say Crawford's boxing ability is compared to Canelo's. That's not a dig on Crawford. That's more a dig on how people view Canelo's boxing skills. For me, Canelo wins this fight. The method of victory, I think he stops Crawford. I know we've never seen Crawford even touch the canvas. Neither have we seen Canelo. For Canelo, I think the power's going to be way too much. I think it'll be... Crawford is a very, very, very tough fighter. He's a battler. He's a brawler when he has to be. But the heart can go a long way, but sometimes the body just stops. And for me, I think Canelo will stop Crawford's body. The weight thing as well, it's just... I don't see Crawford hurting Canelo. And if you can't be hurting Canelo, you're not going to be pushing him back. We saw him get pushed back against Bivol. We saw him get pushed back against Gennady Golovkin. That path to victory doesn't seem doable for Terence Crawford. I don't see him having the power to push Canelo back, and Canelo will be walking him down all night. So the only way for Terence Crawford to have a look at, how's a way to beat Canelo off what we've seen on paper, off what we've seen on video, is what Floyd Mayweather did all those years ago, and that was a very, very long time ago, a different division, a different Canelo. So Canelo wins this fight for me, and I don't think that should be surprising. Lots and lots and lots of people have picked Crawford. For me, they've picked Crawford more off the fact that they like Crawford more than they like Canelo. Obviously, it is everyone's opinion. If you think Crawford wins, I'm not going to judge you for that, because me sitting here saying Canelo will win, that is just my opinion. Can I see Crawford winning this fight? Absolutely. I think he's phenomenal. And if this was a fight at super welterweight or at welterweight, I would be Crawford every day of the week. It is simply the fact that Crawford at 37 trying to jump 3 weight classes to fight Canelo, someone that by some people's opinion has been undervalued of his boxing ability, probably because of the opponents that he's taken on recently. They're not the opponents we want to see him in. And if you're looking at the last fight, I mean, William School, that fight was a disaster. But I will say that if we're going to look at the last fights, we have to look at Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford last fought at super welterweight. He's now jumping up 2 divisions. At super welterweight, he looked sluggish, looked a bit slow, didn't look himself against Israel Madrimov. Gets the win, but it wasn't a great night to see Terence Crawford's ability. You'd have to go back to when he fought Errol Spence to see the best Terence Crawford. And even then, people have slights on that performance because of everything that happened in the Errol Spence camp leading up to it, whether it was the car crash, the eye, everything else. I think these all factor in for my reasons for Canelo winning. Like I said, I will not slight anyone for backing Crawford. For me, I think it will be a Canelo win for me. What round do I think Canelo stops Crawford? I think I'm going to back Canelo to sort of hit him around the 8th or 9th round. Maybe even the 10th for a TKO if he can't stop him with one hit. I think we're going to see a very similar performance maybe to what he did to Billy Joe Saunders. around that time of stoppage. For me, Canelo wins this fight. Do I want to see Crawford on the ground? No, absolutely not. Do I want to see either of these guys lose in this fight? Absolutely not. But unfortunately, I think Crawford's O will be wiped. I think Canelo will defend those super middleweight undisputed titles. And I'm very, very excited for this fight. Most of all, never mind the predictions, what we think is going to happen, whether we're right, whether we're wrong. I just want to enjoy this night because it will be an absolutely phenomenal fight. I'm going to watch all the undercards because I think there's some good fights there. It has been ripped apart, the undercard for this fight, saying it's no good, it's shit. 4 or 5 years ago, this undercard would have been rated so highly. I think if we're trying to compare it to what they did for Ring 4 and, you know, maybe even the Times Square card and everything else that we've been seeing Ring do, yeah, it's probably underwhelming, but it's still a very, very good card. There's still some very good fighters on that card. Good matchups. That's the main thing. They're good matchups. None of these fights are gimmies for Christian Bealey or Serhii Boachuk or Callum Walsh. You know, some of the lower ones, yeah, maybe they are because they are younger fighters, newer. Or we just simply think that these fighters are better than the others. For me, like Ivan Ditchko is better than Jermaine Franklin. It'll be a good night. I think it'll be a very, very, very good night. I cannot wait. Look, I said this is being made Friday, Australia time. Could I change my mind between now and then? Maybe. I've only seen the press conference. They're very friendly, these two, which is weird. I like it, though. I don't think there needs to be a villainous sort of person in this. There doesn't have to be a good guy or a bad guy. I think you've got two sides here, which are natural. I think you've got the Canelo fans, you've got the Crawford fans, you've got the people that just want to see the fight. I think it'll be unbelievable. For me, do take into note that I am a bigger Canelo fan than I am Crawford fan. And yeah, this is just my prediction. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments. Who's going to win? How do you think it's going to happen? And give us why. Don't just give me Crawford's going to win because Crawford is the best ever. I want to see, Crawford's going to win because he's going to be able to handle the weight, or Canelo's going to lose because he's too slow, or whatever your reason is. I'd love to hear it in the comments. Like, subscribe, and I'm out of here, guys. See ya.